Hi, this is Abraham Walker with Ask A. Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. So today's June 1st. This is day 12 of our door knocking journal. This is the beginning of the day, beginning of the shift. And so let's get into our what our expectations for the day are, and then we'll move into the numbers, right? So our expectations for today, since today is a Wednesday, is to do 4.5 hours of door knocking, which should lead to roughly 135 doors knocked, based upon a 30 doors per knock, 30 doors per hour average that we're averaging right now, right? So that's it. So 4.5 hours of door knocking at 30 hours, 30 doors per hour, which leads to roughly 135 doors knocked on a day. Looking forward to having a great day outside. Now, let's get into today's topic. And we're going to make this a quick one. I previously recorded this one, and Facebook said that I could not record or upload a 1 gigabyte video file. So we're going to keep this a little bit more condensed. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk to you about your maximum and minimum output as far as calculating those numbers on the day. And so we're going to use Abraham as an example. I'm Abraham, in case you didn't know. So let's get into it. So the first step in calculating your maximum output is to be realistic with yourself as far as how many hours per day are you are you prospecting, are you working on a given day? Not I would like to do 3 hours this day, 3 hours that. No. On a Monday, typically speaking, on Mondays, what do you do? On Tuesdays, what do you do? On Wednesdays, what do you do? Because we're usually predictable people, so we usually have the same schedules on these days. So this is what I calculated for myself. On Mondays, I can maximum output is 4 hours of prospecting. On Tuesdays, my maximum output is 3.5 hours of prospecting. On Wednesdays, my maximum output is 4.5. Thursdays, 4.5. Fridays, 1.5. Now we take those numbers. Now that we have the days of the week, now we put those into how many Mondays do we have in a certain in that month, right? So in June we have 22 days. Of those 22 days, 4 of them are Mondays, 4 of them are Tuesdays, 4 of them are Fridays, 5 are Wednesdays and Thursdays, right? So when we calculate, when we take that first calculation, which is like for example, so for Monday we have 4 hours of prospecting, right? So if we take that and we multiply that by the 4 Mondays in the month, that means that on Mondays we can expect 16 hours of prospecting time on Mondays. Now we take that simple calculation, right? And this picture will be up on my my public Facebook page. So just go into Facebook, search for Abraham Walker, and follow me if you can't see the information, and you should be able to see everything. When we calculate that number out, we get 81 total hours of prospecting for the month, right? Now, 22 days, 81 hours of those 22 days is going to be prospecting. The next calculation you want to calculate is how many total hours are available for working in that month. If we use a typical 8-hour workday, which is what most Americans work, we can get, we have 176 total working hours in a given month. So if we divide 81 by 176, that gives us 46% of the time spent on lead generation for me, right? And this is Abraham. We're using Abraham as an example, right? So you would have to calculate your own numbers for yourself. Now, if we take that 81 hours, right, and we multiply that by 30, that gives us 2,430. Now, what's 30? 30 represents the number of doors per hour we knock on average. So on average, we're hitting 30 doors per hour. So we multiply that by the total number of hours we expect or anticipate knocking on doors. That gives us 2,430 doors. Now, the next calculation you want to use, or the next number you want to use, I use, is what percentage of the doors that I knock will actually open the door and not can have a contact. That number for me is 25%. So 25% of the doors I knock, they actually answer. So 1 out of every 4 doors. So of the 2,430, when we take 25% of that number, we get 608 conversations. right? So that's 608 conversations on the month. The next number we want to calculate is how many leads do we expect to get from this activity. So for me, I'm using a 4 leads for every 1,000 doors knocked, right? So 4 leads for every 1,000 doors knocked. This number will go up. We will start to see a number increase as we start to get better at this form of lead generation. So when we use the 2,430 doors and we multiply that by that 0.4%, right? So it's not 4%, it's 0.4%. We get 9.72 leads generated from 2,430 doors, right? The next calculation that we'll use, you may want to know is, well, how many hours do I have to work to generate 1 lead? Well, that's a great question. The number for me is, based upon this calculation, is to generate 1 lead, I must work 8.33 hours of door knocking. Great. So now we know the numbers. So this is our maximum output, right? So remember that calculation right there is our maximum output. Now let's talk about our minimum output, right? Because you don't want to just set your hopes up too high. You don't have your not your hopes. You don't have your activity set so high that it doesn't allow for any kind of flexibility or for life to happen, right? So let's talk about our minimum output. So yesterday's video, day 11, the recap, we talked about what Abraham's minimum output is for himself. My minimum output is 50 doors knocked a day, right? 50 doors knocked. If I knock, or when I knock on 50 doors, I feel that I have completed my task for the day. Anything else is a New Orleans term called lagniappe. All right, let's hurry up. So we have 22 days in a month. 50 doors knocked is the minimum output. So when we multiply 22 times 50 doors, we get 1,100 total doors knocked, right? And so if we use that 25% ratio of people that will answer the doors, then that gives us 275 conversations from those 1,100 doors, right? And then if we use that same 0.4% calculation for a number of leads, that means that we should generate roughly 4.4 leads in that given month, right? And if we use those same 1,100 doors, right, and we divide that by 30 doors per hour, right? That's how many doors we can knock per hour. Then we get 36.67 hours of door knocking. So that means that in this month, with our minimum output, the minimum number of hours we would need to put into this activity is 36.67 hours, right? Which represents 20.83% of our total time of those 176 hours. I know, numbers is confusing. Also, there's no board behind me, no numbers. I understand. So what I'll do is I'll just post a picture of my calculations, right, that I use for Abraham on my Facebook page. Please ask any questions you may have down below. I'll be sure to answer them in a timely fashion. So again, my name is Abraham Walker. You're Northern Virginia real estate agent. You can reach me on my cell phone at 703-539-2053. That's 703-539-2053. My email address is abraham@askawalker.com. That's abraham@askawalker.com. I'll see you this afternoon. Peace.